Sabecico, what, fins up today! Fins up today! Oh, fins up, baby! Miami, stand up! This is Fins Talk today! Let's go! Sun up over day, game day on the brain, from the tailgate smoke to the hard count rain. Orange aqua on my back, crowd shaking every seat. We talking ball, talking heat, turn it up, feel that beat. Fins talk today, fins talk today. Fins up all day from the 305, we ride that way. Bobby Fins talk, Fins Sammy on the way. Miami, vamos, it's Fins talk today. Hey, 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 it's Fins talk today. Who you reppin'? Who you riding? Miami, who you riding? Dolphins, we break it down, break it live, every snap, every drive. Hey, Fins talk today. Fins up all day from the 305, we ride that wave. Fins talk, Fins Sammy on the way. Miami, vamos, vamos, it's Fins talk today. Hey, 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 Fins talk today.
Ooh, what is up, Dolphin fans, Fin Nation? Welcome to the flagship show here on FTSN. Welcome to Fins Talk today. I'm Bobby Fins Talk, representing Fins Talk Sports Network. That's Fin Sammy of Fins TV. Fins Talk today, sponsored by Caneswear. Go check them out at 2655 South University Drive in Davie. Man, oh man, where are we? Football. The first week of football is done. We're going into the second game, and we got some practice notes from today. So, but the season, we got a glimpse of maybe what we should expect, at least from the starters in the week one of the preseason. We didn't get to see a lot of the defense, at least the starting defense, but we got to see a kind of a preview of Caleb Douglas. We got great news on Chris Bell, and so I want to talk about, did Miami, even though it's early, can we comfortably say Miami struck gold with their rookie wide receivers? Because even Kevin Coleman is making some noise. So, but before we get into any of that, let us welcome everybody. Thank you all for tuning in. Got the Adrian of the Rainy Day Podcast in here. We got Noel Dow. Appreciate everybody jumping in. We see the viewership is growing. Appreciate you all jumping. Sammy, my man. Woo! How you doing, brother?
Bobby, baby. As always, Thursday, 8 p.m. The only place to be on a Thursday night at 8 p.m. The flagship of FTSN Fixed on today.
The flagship show.
Sweet. I mean, positive. I'm not being as petty as usual on Thursday night. I'm petty at 8 p.m. usually on Thursdays, but I'm being comfortable. Mr. Nice Guy today.
Yeah, we got, so today we're going to talk about the Dolphins rookie wide receivers. Of course, we're going to talk about some of the noise we're hearing out of the joint practices with the Giants in Miami. And we're going to have a special guest, Jarvis the Tank Courtney, joining us, free agent offensive lineman, looking to achieve his dream, of course, of making it into the NFL, especially teams like the Miami Dolphins. So excited about having him on to talk about that, and also to talk about the offensive line for the Miami Dolphins and how difficult is it to move from guard to tackle, or from tackle to guard, like Caden Proctor has done and seems to be doing well at. And of course, Savannah moved from left guard to right guard. Why Savannah would struggle at left guard but do better at right guard? I want to know from someone who has that immense experience like Jarvis, to why that could impact the player. So we're going to have him on later today, not too long from now, in a little later in the show. But we're going to talk about Miami's rookie wide receivers. We're going to talk about camp, and we're also going to talk about Fin Sammy and the Fins overhype that he's seeing around Fins Nation. How's the spaceship? It's great, man. It was great. They had to bring me back down because it was too it was too big. So they had to let's bring you on down. You're waiting the ship. So that's how now I'm here and back on Earth. I'm back in normal gravity. Appreciate you, Adrian. Love you, brother. He knows what we're talking about. But Sammy, man, let's first just get into it, because let's first get into the practice of the joint practices today. I mean, again, depending on who you're listening to or talking to, depending on whose eyes are watching, you'll see a lot of things I saw today was Miami was dominated by the New York Football Giants in joint practice. We're talking about practice, but was dominated. Others were saying, yeah, but not so much. It doesn't have to be, the end of the world. Some of the notes from joint practice today from multiple reports. Dolphins offensive line got beaten by the Giants. That was from your friend, Omar Kelly. Will Kacmarek was as good as advertised as a run blocker. David Ferrones. Giants offense with multiple chunk plays. Bobby Skinner. Jackson Dart was the best player on the field today. And the best day for the New York Giants offense throughout camp, Jordan Renan. I did see that the Giants running game could not get going without Zach Sealer or Kenneth Grant. So that could be count as a plus.
Yes.
But very, very quick, man. What's your thoughts on what you've seen or what you read from practice today?
Well, a couple of weeks ago, we talked about the fact that I told you, they're playing against each other. We don't know if they're just mediocre. They just being good against each other. So the test will be when they play against the Commander, press against the Commanders, and all the Giants. And basically, I said it last week. These teams starting lineups will be a backup on other Dolphins teams, because they're not gonna be good. I'm not saying that they're not gonna end up by the end of the season very good players in a couple of years. It's like that theory when you say that the worst team in the NFL can be beaten by the national champion in college. It's just talking about boys against men. You have more veterans, bigger bodies, stronger, more developed, more experience against a very, very, very young Miami Dolphins team. We might have even 5-6 starters who are rookies in this team at some point. Who knows? Maybe more. So I can understand why their struggles are happening now. I'm not saying that they're gonna be better by the end of the season, but it's the truth. You have a very young team with a lot of rookies, a lot of young players, a lot of underdeveloped players, a lot of guys on one-year contracts, and it's gonna be rough. I said it from the beginning. I see. We're gonna talk a little bit about the hype, but I see optimism. There's nothing wrong with optimism. There's nothing with hope, but you have to be mindful. This team is young. It's gonna be growing pains, and teams that are bigger, more mature, more experienced are gonna handle the Dolphins. That's bound to happen. It happened today.
I get what you're saying, and I agree. I'm not going to be too overly concerned or freaking out over how Miami played or whatever in a joint practice. Again, practice could be on different levels. We saw what happened last week in the first preseason game, and understand, and again, expectations, if you're thinking about expectations going into the season, they have to be tempered. You got to bring them down a notch a little bit, especially if you're looking into what's going on. When I talk about quote unquote the hopium, at least on my part, is more about the future of this organization going forward, more about the immediate future coming into this season. Can crazy things happen? Sure, they've happened before. But when people are saying like, oh, Adrian, and rightfully so, right? Miami got handled by the Giants today. Cool, right? We expect that. Miami has a depth issue. I think somebody said on X today, somebody asked, what if for Miami, what's your biggest concern or whatever? The biggest concern is depth. I'm not worried about starters here and there. I know a few guys on defense did not play in that first preseason game. We'll see. But we know that, hey, if Malik Willis goes down at any point during the season, knock on wood, heaven forbid, Miami's going to have a problem at quarterback. Yes. Quinn Ewers and Cam Miller has shown nothing is in training camp nor during the first preseason game to give you any kind of relaxation or anything or a calm that, oh, we're okay. We're not okay. They brought him back, Mark Gronkowski, back as a fourth guy. That's not very comforting. So, Miami has to probably scour the market to see is there a decent veteran out there that could back up Malik Willis, especially if they're serious about winning. Again, if anybody on the offensive line goes down, Really, if anyone goes down on the offensive line at left tackle, Patrick Paul, whomever, we've got a problem. Secondary, you have no real concern. There's nobody there that goes down here. But oh my God, it's the end of the world, because really, it's a bunch of depth guys. We're gonna see. It's a Game of Thrones. Let's see who lives. Either you live or you die. You're gonna stick on the roster and do something to take that spot, or you're off the roster and you're gone. That's what I consider the secondary for the Miami Dolphins right now. It is the Game of Thrones. We don't know who's going to stick. So,
yeah,
so we've got to be realistic about expectations going into this year. But I think, my feel is, again, as much as we're all, people saying, oh, it's going to suck. Oh, I have not been more excited for a Dolphin season in a while than this season, just because of what the future's offering. And that leads us really quick, or leads us right into our main topic of the show, which is, has Miami struck gold with their rookie wide receivers that they got this year? And of course, it is way too early to definitively answer that question. But when you see, you think about, when Miami lost or cut Tyreek Hill, he was out with an injury, still out. We'll see what happens from there. Traded Jalen Waddle. That receiver room, you're like, oh, that's gonna be a weak link, man. My goodness. We got Jalen Tolbert, who had a decent day today. Joe Tolbert, to Atwell did not look good in preseason, the first preseason game. Malik Washington looked like he's still building that. He looks like he is building that chemistry. So it's a wait to see how that translate into the season. But Caleb Douglas out of Texas Tech, a guy, again, that we said on draft day, Sammy, where everybody, when he was taken, we're kind of like, what? You hear all the groans and the moans and the whatever. Now, if you go back and you watch his film and you go and look at his blueprint, he has the size, he has the skill, he has everything you want, and then when you watch the film, you can see the talent, but it's about what he brings into practice, what he brings at camp, what he brings when he plays. Now you hear the good stuff. This guy, Caleb Douglas, taken in the third round with a 75th pick. It's not like first round pick, but still third round is a quality thing. And especially with Miami's receiver room, he's going to have to play some quality minutes. This is a guy you're relying and you're hoping is going to be a starter. Well, we get into training camp and he's in a mini camp or whatever, and he's catching eyes. Catching balls like he's catching eyes. No pun intended. And you never know nowadays, especially with Adrian, 75%. But he's making noise. He's getting eyes on him, and people are like, wait a second, there's something here with this kid. But again, you gotta say cause to pause, because we don't know. You could be great in practice and be terrible during a game. Well, we get a very tiny little glimpse of Caleb Douglas in the first preseason game. And he makes two very impressive plays. The first play, though, is disqualified because he puts his foot out of bounds, which is a rookie mistake. He should see where his feet in. He had plenty of chance to get his feet down, which is understandable, though. He's a rookie. And what have I said, though, about this season, which is going to be something I'm going to be watching? How do they adjust? How does he respond? So he's very disappointed in himself. He stepped out of bounds. Malik goes to him again. He's getting tugged. Penalty. One-handed grab brings it down. That's a clutch play, and it's preseason. If that was the regular season, that'd be week to week on TV. Best play of the season, one of the best plays of the year from Caleb Douglas. This is a kid that not many Dolphin fans were excited about because he wasn't really on a lot of people's board, right? We were talking about Ted Hurst, Chris Bell. I love them. He gets, and now guess what? Now fans are going, wait a second, we may have found a gem here. Chris Bell, who I've said on the 305 on the SoFlo Sports Show with Ashley and Lou. I've said about it on our draft show on the clock. This guy was my draft crush. I always had one. It was Ollie Gordon the year before that. It was, Chris Bell, man. I was like, this guy, if healthy, should be a first-round pick. He reminds me, if I had to give a player count, which I hate player counts, I say Anquan Boldin. He plays physical. He's built like a running back. I cannot wait for this kid. They finally get him with the 94th pick. He fell all the way from first to third. I thought he was a first-round, early second-round pick. He goes to the third round, 94th pick. We're like, okay, well, when do we expect to play? We don't expect him to play. We'll see. Maybe mid-season he'll come in, whatever. Let's not rush him. We watch his videos. We see him in training camp. He's running on the sideline. He's doing things that you won't expect him to do. He's red jersey right now. All of a sudden, he's activated. We don't expect him to play preseason. I expect him to play week 1, but that's crazy. But that shows the heart of this kid. And then Kevin Coleman, fifth round, 177th pick. You know, you don't really think about those type of picks. You're like, okay, that's a body. Okay, he's a very athletic wide receiver. He can be a playmaker on special teams. But then you see he's making plays at camp. He didn't play week 1 in preseason. We're going to see him week 2. But this is a guy I think also, especially with a wide open wide receiver room where you have the ability, no matter if you're a 5th round pick, 7th round pick, a 3rd wide receiver somewhere else, if Malik Willis like a 3rd or 4th wide receiver in Miami last year, you have the opportunity to make a name for yourself and solidify a spot. And Coleman and Douglas are doing that. Bell should probably be in that conversation go week 1. These guys are not your average Dolphin rookies that we've had early on in our fandom that we've seen year after year. These guys kind of taken the, how do you say this, the mental headspace of the coach, the culture of John R. Sullivan, what he's saying he wants to instill. These guys are football players. They're working hard. They're trying to do their best to play their best. And you see that. And it's reflective of those young guys where we're talking about possibly Miami having 3 wide receivers, 2 in the 3rd round, 1 in the 5th round, that could be immediate impact players on this team. Where we're going, wait a second. We just went from Jalen Waddle to Tyreek Hill. And you're going, okay, it's going to be a while before we're going to look at Jeremiah Smith. These guys, even though Jeremiah Smith is a beautiful pipe dream, if it could happen, but these guys could actually get us out of that. Where now we look like, okay, who's going to be if Chop Robinson continues to do what he's doing, and who's going to be on his next side? Well, maybe Dylan Stewart. Maybe we're looking at that area. Maybe we secure that right tackle spot or get another guy. Like, do I think Miami has struck gold? I know it's early to say, but it's looking like that with these 2 or 3 young wide receivers.
You waiting for me?
Yeah, waiting for you. You're pretty good with just following up. I was like,
I was gonna do my best courtesy in place. So you got me excited, bro. You had her listening, and I got excited. That was courtesy for the same. No, listen, we're gonna talk about the difference between the hype and the hope. But there's hope with these guys. I remember the draft. We were shocked because there were so many players on the ball when Douglas was picked. It was like he came out of nowhere. It was like kind of weird, but you can see that the trust the process versus what the hell they are doing. I remember he was drafted. People were calling for comeback Chris Greer. That's how stupid people was at that moment. Let's call it by name. That you have to keep a level headed because that's what happened. So, and I'm being, we talk about Hurts and so many other players. I'll tell you what, I heard more people commenting, or some pundits, from Florio, from others, about Douglas than any other wide receiver that I can think of right now. So many wide receivers were taken before him, and with that catch on Friday, on the game, Saturday was Friday, you have to remember, that catch, what it made the highlights. People were talking about him, and I think that he's still developing. When you think of his body, and we talked about before, we look at the physique. He's still developing. He's still very young. A lot of players come into the NFL and they blossom later. They blossom. Thank you. I just woke up. They blossom later. So there's a lot. And Bell, outdoor bowling is such a great comparison. It's such a great comparison. Debo Samuel is someone else that I see that kind of upper body looks around. Debo Samuel is someone that I see that, and they're gonna have to perform. Last week we talked about if I was younger Sullivan and I see this team and I see what Malik is capable of doing, if you need to go more wide receiver help, and then they activated Bell. So they're counting on the young guys. They're counting on them to perform, and they're tied at the hip. You cannot evaluate Malik Willis correctly and fairly and properly if those young guys don't perform. So hopefully they find a way to perform. I have a lot of hope. That's one position that I think is going to be very, very interesting. By the end of the year, we're gonna know if those two guys are gonna stick, or one's gonna stick, or two is gonna stick. But they're gonna get a chance. They're gonna be put to the fire. They're gonna have to perform, and hopefully they come up. And we have two very young wide receivers, and you cannot have enough wide receivers. How many times we thought that we had a full wide receiver room and they kept falling, and we end up basically happy with the running backs, happy with the wide receivers, happy with the cornerbacks. You cannot have enough. So to have three young guys right now, ready for tomorrow, for the next year, that's awesome. So I'm really hopeful for the three of them.
And again, three rookie receivers, but not just three young guys, four young guys. When you think about Malik Washington, who's only in his second, he's got, I think, his second year, right? So like the early chemistry that he's building with Malik Willis, it's going to stand out this year. To be fun to watch and see those guys develop that relationship. Again, Caleb Douglas, he has the size, but it's not just the size; he's fast. I mean, we lost Tyreek Hill, but this guy's a 4.39 speed. I mean, and he looked at, if you go back and watch that game, at least the first drive that he was in, I mean, he's scorching these guys, and he's making himself open, and then they come down with that ball. Great awareness, great toughness, great physicality. I mean, it's exciting to see. And again, Hog Dog brings it up right here. You cannot ignore Kevin Coleman. This kid is a sleeper. This is a guy that, again, when I saw he was drafted, I was like, okay, cool. I like his versatility. I like what he could bring on special teams. I saw him maybe being paired up with, he gives Devon Achane flexibility not to return balls. Let it be Malik Washington and Kevin Coleman. But this guy could be a guy where we could see him in the starting offense in rotations, playing at wide receiver. Douglas and Bell bring that size, but this guy right here, Coleman stop and go is awesome. Looking great hands, provides quickness, separation, intelligence from the slot. That's what the type of player what type of player he is. But he's also showing that, and he actually had a good yesterday. But everybody's freaking out about today's practice. But yesterday, Coleman was was really showing out. What the last practice they had. SoFlo Sports Show. Lou, to check out the text I sent you, if you don't mind. You don't have to say it in here, but do me a favor, check that text I sent you. But my primo, Lou, primo too, Ashley. But we're excited about the DC. Lou, but think about it. I mean, look, right here that that's the thing too. Coleman has so much experience. He's been all over the place. He played at Jackson State, Louisville, Mississippi State, and Missouri. He's been in a lot of different offenses, a lot of different cities. He's at almost 200 receptions, 2,500 yards, 12 touchdowns. And he's showing it. Like, I'm telling you, and I think Adrian said it best about, I'm not looking at yes, no doubt's not wrong. When those post games happen, and if the Dolphins are winning, we're going nuts. We're having a blast that post game show here on the Finns Talk Sports Network. But this season, I'm not seeing as a win and loss season. This season's about watching these young guys play, watching them develop relationships. That's what this is all about. And I'm telling you, I know it's early. But what we're seeing and hearing about Caleb Douglas and what we're seeing about Kevin Coleman, and we're looking at Chris Bell, and we're hearing that this guy now, he's activated, he's way ahead of the curve. Will Patrone of 305 Sports Now, the best Dolphins duo. Thank you, sir. Bless you. We're the flagship show. Stop. Stop it.
Venmo or Cash App? I'm sorry.
That's right. That's right. But again, if those guys are doing what they're doing, and we're seeing what Caleb Douglas is about, and about to come pumps and play one, and if he is who I think he can be, which again, Lou and Ashley are in the comments at the SoFlo Sports Show. Go subscribe. But I was on their show before the draft, and they asked me, "Who's your draft crush?" I said Chris Bell, because I believe in this kid. 6'2", 228 pounds, built like a running back. Have you seen his legs? Tree trunks. They're massive. Shut up, Adrian. No, don't come out here with no 85%. But I'm just telling you, man, this dude is built like, and he plays like it. There you go. You see? I knew it. I'm telling you, man. Have they struck gold? We can't say definitely less. Yes, but I'll tell you, I'm gonna say no pun intended, about 90%. I want to say I think they that it could be the case.
You know what? One of the cool thing is that at the very least that we're talking about now, that we are kind of hopeful about that. That tells you about a young Eric Sullivan, because his father was a wide receiver coach. He's already shown that he knows how to evaluate wide receivers. So I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that if they're good enough to stick to this team, he's gonna find a gem eventually. If those three guys are good enough to be 2, 3, 4s, and 5s, I'm pretty sure, I'm confident that with a higher pick and and 100 million of free agency money, he's gonna be able to find a very good wide receiver talent. So at the very least, young Eric Sullivan passed the first test, because I think those three guys passed the eye test, and I think we can be hopeful that he knows what he's doing. So that's awesome.
And I'm going to say too, again, think about where he got these guys, and it's very early on. I understand, but still, think about where he got these guys. He got both guys. He got Bell and Douglas in the 3rd round. He got Coleman in the 5th round, which tells you, like, if you're thinking, Jeremiah Smith round 1 next year for Miami, may want to pump those brakes, especially if he's leaning in those later rounds, even though they went wide receiver in Green Bay one time in the 1st round, just recently, not too far off. Will says right here, Bell is a number 1 receiver. I 100% believe he can be. And it's going to be crazy to say that Caleb Douglas is in that conversation right now because Bell's not playing. But Douglas and Bell.
You call it on Bell. You're too humble because you call it on Bell. You said the guy, had the tools to be the kind of wide receiver. So we have to wait and see. But so far, he looks like a steal in the draft. So
that's what I'm, again, just not even a chance to see the field as a professional yet. How to say he's a steal of the draft? I think you go, but what? Somebody could say, but he hasn't even played on pro football. He's a steal of the draft, especially as a football player with heart. He's fighting to get back on the field. He's not taking his luxury time here. Caleb Douglas.
You saw a picture of him in the sidelines today. There's a picture of him in the sidelines. The other guy's playing. He's there with the red shirt, with the helmet. Yeah. And someone put the guy, he's dying to come in. I think you're right.
It's true. That's the type of football we got. The type of football player we got. I mean, again, built like a running back. Sammy. Will just brought up what he did against the Hurricanes. I mean, he destroyed them. I mean, it was like over 200 yards or something like that, if I remember. I'm trying to make sure. I think I have my notes here. Yeah. Let's see. 135 yards, 2 touchdowns. He finished the 25 season with 72 catches, 917 yards, and 6 touchdowns. People are going to go, Dolphin fans, I think by the end of the year, go, how the hell did we go from Tyreek Hill and Waddle worried about what the Dolphins are doing to Malik Willis to Chris Bell and Caleb Douglas going, damn, and Kevin Coleman going, damn, they actually made a smart business decision, and we're going to be comfortable about what John Eric Sullivan's going to do for the future. Because when that record is done, when that season is done, and we're looking at that record, and let's say more than likely we'll be disappointed at the record, we're going to be excited about the future of this organization. That's where my hopium is in. But Sammy, you said it on Twitter. You don't usually do stuff like that, man. You're Mr. Positivity when it comes to the community. You bring the community together. You're doing this whole, the big ring thing. This whole ring. Everybody's trying to come after it. And, I don't know why you're saying, "Oh, who's gonna get the ring?" I have the ring, and until I don't, I'm gonna have it. I'm gonna keep it. I don't care how many. You can go all over the world, brother. You can go to Mars. Yeah, you can go to Mars, brother. You go to Mars, Venus, wherever, my man. Woo! Until you beat the man, you ain't the man. All right. So, but this is what you usually do. But today, my brother, you kind of got a little offensive, like you're taking the attack. So, what is going on with the? What are you seeing that you have to speak out on, bro?
I'll tell you what. I see guys, and first there will be someone that people are gonna take a shot at by me saying that, and it's not Tilly Finstock. I know Tilly Finstock is a hype guy, but he's a hopeful guy. I truly believe that he really believes that this is gonna make the playoffs. I truly believe that he believes that. So let me make this clear: it's not Tilly Finstock, the person or one of the people I see doing that kind of things, because I truly believe Tilly Finstock believes this team is gonna make the playoffs. So let me be serious about that, because but it bothers me. I don't want the chat. Yeah, no, come at me if you need so. But I see so many people. They're called hype merchants. It's the difference between hype and hope. Hype is overhyping. You're basically saying this guy is gonna be this and this team whatever by one play, and it bothers me because if you get the fan base riled up And then when it doesn't happen, then you take the shot at the team by you overhyping what you doing your overhype. If you really believe that this team is gonna be a Super Bowl aspirations team, for playoff contending team, if you're by that, like my heart goes out to you because I don't think that. I truly don't. And but it's every single year the same guys, the same people doing the hype thing this part of the season, and then when the season starts, they flip and try to route the fan base against the team and whoever, Chris Greer or whoever it is. Every single time, every single year. So it's okay for me to be hopeful. You can have all the hope you want. But it's the problem when you're trying to rattle up the fan base and hyping up some things that there's no way you can believe they're right about a player, about the franchise, about the team for a year. And when things don't happen every single day, and then they flip and they try to rattle the same guys that they rattle up against the team. And it bothers me because don't do that. If you're wrong and you're hyping or you're just prediction you're bad or you're that kind of a big ego that you need to say those kind of things. When you're wrong, just earn it. I was wrong about it. I was wrong about my prediction. I have greatest expectations and I was wrong. But they do it every single year. And, they hype everybody. And when the team starts to flounder, then the team is the problem. No, bro. You are the problem. Your expectations were way off. I'm not going to say names, but it happens every single year. And it bothers me. And, they live out of that. They live out of the hype. They live out of hyping other people. I like you said, I believe in the power of positivity. I believe in making this community better. But I'm also a realist. I've been saying it from weeks ago that this you have to be careful who you trust with your time, with who you support, because you have to be responsible. A lot of people are there that are just not responsible and just not responsible for clicks and for other things. So it bothers me. Stay on course. Be a realistic. Try to do the best thing you do. If you truly believe in this team, and that's your take, do it. But man, you have to be the greatest hopeful of all time because every single year, so and so do the same thing. So it just bothers me.
Man, oh man, I get it. I get where your point is coming from. I've seen it too. It's not just. There are people that just do it. And it's one of my pet peeves to do it. And, watching people that you can tell when it's authentic and when it's not authentic, when it's just,
exactly.
You're forcing it.
Yeah.
And that's a major issue. I mean, I've seen it with wrestling commentary on social media. This is the greatest talker, the greatest entrance, the greatest. What's up with the greatest? We're going to, watch out. So-and-so's going to have a major season. Like, what are we doing here? Like,
and it's not trolling.
Tamper
it's just
expectation.
stupidity.
Well, it's just, again, it's tamper expectation because then there are people which is okay. It's okay to be a fan. It's okay to be hyped on your team. It's okay to want to win and have the best team out there. And, hey, man, Malik Willis is going to do it. Hey, man, you don't know. No, you're right. Nobody knows what the end game is. Nobody knows if the Dolphins are going to shock the world and be some great team after, very early on in training camp struggling. Nobody knows that. But it's, when you're looking at the roster and you're looking at what's going down in training camp and joint practices, especially with the depth situation, because injuries are going to come, it's not hard to figure out that, or to say realistically, Miami might have a tough year this year.
Yeah.
That's okay. Because it's not about, to me, at least as a Dolphins fan, not to the players. Players don't play to lose. Players don't play for the future.
No.
I just had this conversation with somebody recently where, it was about getting a job and, the job that, they left their job and the job they wanted to go, the job that they thought about going to, they didn't have enough hours. It was a great job. It's a great place. It's a place that you want to grow in. But at the same time, that person wasn't ready for that job. They have responsibilities. They got things to pay. They got kids, whatever. So it didn't make sense with the travel and paying the gas and whatever. So they had to take another opportunity. And it makes sense. Sometimes something could be really good, but you got to go the slow route. The Giants beat the unstoppable the Wildcard any given Sunday. That's right. You don't know. We don't know, but it's better to take, for fans to lower expectations. No player wants to lose. Players are going to play to win, and that's the type of player you want on your team. But fans, on the other end, don't go crazy with high expectations, especially when you know what you see on paper, because then when the team's not doing well and you're not giving these kids grace to grow in their roles and learn these positions and learn this new environment, then you're like, oh, that kid's a bust.
And you see fans calling for bearing it down by week 4.
Because, when Savannah gets drafted, they put him at left guard. That's a new position for him. I love Savannah coming out of college last year. They put him at left guard. And some players are good at right guard, left guard, tackle, center, whatever. But some guys, it takes a little process to learn. He got in that spot. He struggled. Instead of being smart, the coaching staff keeps him there because they want to be stubborn and hope he can break into it. He doesn't. So it takes this new coach staff to say, let's go ahead and move him to the right guard and see what happens. Holy crap, it's rocket science. They move him to the right guard, and he's doing better. He's doing better. It's like sometimes you got to give these guys grace. And that's why this season, I think you're right. When you go to tamper expectations, you have these people that are living off hype. That's how they do clickbait. Oh, they're going to be a major. And then when the team does suck, the people that are buying into that say, oh, they need to cut this guy. Malik Willis sucks. This guy sucks. This guy. It's like, how can you expect these guys to succeed? You got to let them grow. So yeah, I get your point, man. I'll just remind everybody we got more people dropping in. Appreciate you all watching Fins Talk today here, powered by FTSN and Fins TV, sponsored by Caneswear. Bobby Fins, that's Fin Sammy. And Sammy, my man, we got a special guest, friend of the channel, friend of mine, good brother. I'm excited to have him on here. He's going to talk about, we got Jarvis Courtney joining us in a minute here, and he's going to talk about his journey. He's going to talk about his goals to get into the NFL, Dolphins more especially, but the NFL, that's his dream, and we want to support his dream. But he's also, I want to get his thoughts because he's a free agent. He's trying to get into the NFL, but this guy's a veteran. He's been around. He knows what it takes to be a competitor, to train. He trains even when he's on it. So I want to get his thoughts on the offensive line, especially for Miami. We just talked about Savannah moving from left guard or right guard to left guard and how he struggled. Now he's back at right guard and he's doing better. That type of mindset. What does it take a player mentally and physically to jump from spot to spot, and why that might be hard? So let's go ahead and let's change this studio here. I'm gonna put him on the big screen. I'm not pop. Let's get the big guy in it. What's up, brother? How you doing, Jarvis?
What's happening, y'all? How y'all doing?
Hey, Jarvis.
Doing good, man. Great to see you, man. It's been a little bit. I know. Well, we talk all the time, so yeah, I appreciate you. And I was like, man, I'm finally gonna get him in here because I want to hear from him and get to. I know we talk about wrestling. I gotta get you on the wrestling show, but get you here. Talk about you, my man. Talk about your journey and where you're at right now, but also I want to get your expertise on the Dolphins offensive line. Before we do that, my brother, how are you?
I'm good, man. I'm blessed to be alive.
Amen.
I just got done playing in Nebraska for the Omaha Beef in the NAL, and then I was playing in Tennessee with the Nashville Cats. So that's where I was currently playing.
There you go, man. Yeah, you've been going, man. You're right next door, man. I could have. Oh man, but anyway, that's okay. I'm excited, but that's the thing too. That's what people don't realize. I want to say this, and for those that don't know, you can check him out. What's your @handle, very quick? I don't have it in front of me. I know it's Tank in there. What's your @ handle on Twitter so people can follow you and follow your story, brother?
Frank_Tank_52.
There you go. Let me just tell you, if you guys are not familiar with Jarvis, man, this guy, one of the hardest working people in the room. Right. I've seen a lot of guys who say, I want to be a player, I want to play in the league, and they show a couple videos and then they're done. Right. And then they disappear. Jarvis has not disappeared. Jarvis, you're working out, you're staying ready. And when you have an opportunity, you're playing, you're staying ready, but you have not given up on that dream about playing in the league, my man. So
yes,
where are you right now, brother, on your journey? Have you heard from anybody? Like, what's your goals, man?
So I definitely contacted a few teams. Like you said, you just got to stay ready. I know the call is going to come through. I don't know who it's going to be, but just staying focused, trusting the process, trusting God's timing. Like, it's never in our timing. It's always in God's timing. And just staying healthy and just like dominating every day. I see every day. You got players going down left and right. You got centers going down. You got guards going down left and right. And that's where it's like either they bring me in for a workout or they bring me in for the death of the offensive lineman. And when they do that, I just know I'm gonna dominate everything that's in front of me.
And that's what I want to talk to you about too, because your experience on the offensive line. If I remember correctly, brother, you're versatile, man. You've played multiple positions. Talk to everybody what positions you've played on the offensive line.
So I played tackle, I played both sides, played guard, both sides, and center.
See that? So you would know better than anybody about the experience to jump from side to side. And I want to get your thoughts on Miami, and because Caden Proctor, who was a tackle at Alabama, he's moved to left guard. Savanea, who was on the right side of the offensive line in his college year, they pushed him at the left side. He struggled. They put him back at right. He's successful. But before we get into them, I want to stay on you, my man. So I want everybody to know, though, your story. You talked about a couple of teams that you were on, Omaha and Nashville, the Nashville Cats. But tell them, like, where you played, how you started your career, like, high school, college, and what you've done around the league, man. And when did you decide, like, I'm going to make it my mission in life to get myself in this league? Because again, you're one of those cats that are, to me, no pun intended with Nashville Cats, but you're one of those cats, man, that, hardest working person in the room, man. I've seen you, you're always, you speak up for yourself. There's a lot of people that won't. There's not a lot of people that will go out there and put themselves out there, and they just want to hope, like you say, trust God's plan, and they just want to hope, happen this maybe behind it. But no, you're putting yourself out there. When, talk about how you started and when you decided, like, you know what, I'm going to do everything in my power to make this happen. And if it happens, that's your dream. If it doesn't, trust God's will, but you're never giving up, my man. So talk about when you decided that's what you were going to do. But first, just tell us about your career, how it all got going.
So I first started playing when I was 7. At first I was kind of nervous to play football around that age, because I'm like, man, I see guys getting hit left and right and people getting hurt. I'm like, nah, I don't want to do that. But then, my grandfather, he gave me the nickname Tank or whatever. He said, you need to go out there. You need to play football. And I was like, man, well, what if I get ran over just like everybody else? And he was like, no, you a tank. You built for this. I'm like, okay. So I went out there and I tried it. And everything just came second nature. I just started dominating. And then that time I was playing center at that time too. So it's like, man, so I started playing. I took a time off in middle school because I was playing basketball. I started playing basketball when I was in middle school, but I got back into football in high school. I played all 4 years in high school. I didn't have no college scouts or nothing like that come look at me or anything like that, because, like, I'm from a small town. And I feel like that town, it gets overlooked. You can look it up too, Lexington Park, Maryland, St. Mary's County. So it definitely got overlooked. I feel like I got overlooked. I dominated every high school that was there. And I got some old film that I can also show you too. But I promised my grandmother I was gonna make it to the NFL. I ended up losing her to cancer in 2016. That's when I really, really dialed in and was like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and make this NFL run, because I promised my grandmother I was gonna make it. So I can't break no promise with my grandmother, and just, seeing her just take her last breath and me telling her I was gonna make it, it became that much personal. So I started making, like, my workout videos and stuff like that, and end up getting seen by arena football team. I played for the West Virginia Rough Riders back in 2019. I went there, balled out. I ended up playing out in Washington State with the Skyhawks. I played for Salina Liberty out in Kansas. Then I played for Wichita Force out in Kansas. Then I played for the Rapid City Marshals, that's out in South Dakota. And then I played for the Huntsville Astros in Alabama. That was an outdoor league. Dominated there. And I ended up playing for the Nashville Cats, and then I played for the Omaha Beef. So my journey has been all over the place, but every league that I played in, like, I dominated. And I see nowadays, it's like, if you don't have no college football experience, then you can't do this, you can't do that. Man, if you're a baller, you can ball. Football is football to me. Everybody don't have it financially all the time. Everybody's story journey is different. My journey ended up being different, but the main thing for me is I just keep God first in everything that I do. And I never let another man tell me what I can and cannot do. I promised someone special to me that I lost that I was going to make it to the NFL. And that's what's going to happen. Like I said, it's all about timing. It's all about opportunity. I'm grinding each and every day. Um, I see a lot of guys getting their workout stuff here and there, and it's like, man, like, you know, what do I got to do to solidify a spot? You know what I'm saying? Like, why are y'all overlooking me? Like, what is it about me? Like, are y'all holding on to that? Oh, you didn't play college football? That's bull crap, bro. Like, y'all seen my film. Y'all seen what I do. You know what I'm saying? I would dominate every defensive lineman there is that you line up against me. I don't care about the name. I never cared about nobody's name. I never cared about how many stars they had. I'm a dog. It's personal, and I really do this. My film speaks for itself.
Let me ask you very quick. I'm somebody who forgets, but because it was in my head. You said it. You said it, your journey throughout the leagues, playing for Arena Football League, Outdoor League. But you said it like, I mean, you're not just talking about like, oh, in a state and just different cities. You're talking about around the United States.
Yes.
So, you know, and not to get too into your business, but I just have to ask you this because I think this speaks to this. When you're going from Nashville to Omaha to here and there, and what, my brother, they obviously you get. Do they give you? Are they paying for you to come there? Or are you paying on yourself?
I'm paying myself to get there. They don't pay me. And in these leagues, they don't really pay. And people have families, you know what I'm saying? So it's like you really betting on yourself. You know what I'm saying? You sacrificing your time from your family, and with them not being able to pay, you know what I'm saying, what you think they will pay, because in a lot of these leagues, they lie about the pay to get you there. But the thing for me is, yeah, I'm getting the money and I'll send that to my family. But on top of that, I'm just building my resume. I'm building a film because it's like, here, I put it in front of the GM's face or whoever. And this is what I do, not just in this league, but anybody that I go against. Like I said, like I dominate in every league. I get into the NFL and I'm going to dominate that league too. It is no football.
I'm gonna say, man, you know, again, just talking about that right there, you say, you know, you because that's what you're saying now. I'm like, you're paying on your own. You're traveling, and that should speak to your desire to play. I mean, there's some people that's like, I'm just gonna stay right here and I'm gonna play for this team and whatever, and you know, but you're going, no, I'm gonna put myself out there. I'm gonna pay my way. And this is the other thing too. You're not asking for a roster spot. It's not like you're saying, give me a spot. You're asking just for an opportunity. You just want a shot. Put me in front and give me an opportunity. Let me earn this opportunity. You know, so, and you know, again, this is an inspiration, you know, not, you know, especially the younger kids too, like for real, like if they get a chance to see this, or, you know, they're out there and they're saying like, there's no quit. You don't have to quit. And you're still living it. You're still playing. Which is still, that's your dream. You want to play, but you want to play in the NFL. And for your grandmother, God rest her soul, you know, that promise you made her, and that's giving you the drive to keep going, man. That's inspirational. That's hype, you know, and that's why, like, you know, yeah, I know you've been all over Dolphin shoulders, but I know you're pushing just to play in the league, man. And that's what I want. Like, I'd love to see you sign, you know, he got out. Oh, he did a chance with the Dolphins. That'd be epic. Oh, he signed with Miami. That's great. But like, just to see, it doesn't matter what team, like to see, unless it's the Jets. You and I will have to talk to the Jets, man. I'll tell you right now, your dream is gonna have to wait, brother. No, you're dead to us. You're dead. You remember who this is? No. Who's this? I don't know who this is. No, I'll just play with you. But no, you know, like that, and that's why, like, honestly, man, like you know, you got a fan in me that I'm rooting for you, and I'm praying for you. So, like, just for those reasons alone, I have to ask you, you know, the NFL, obviously the ultimate goal. Have you thought of, or is there a route for you? You don't have an agent, is that right? If I remember correctly.
No.
Okay.
It's like with that, it goes back to like the college football. It's like they overlook me, and it's like, why? What is it? Like, I have talked to a few of them, and it's just, no, we just got enough, you know, clients, and I'm like, all right, well. Okay. Everybody's saying the same thing, but I said one thing about it. Like, I got the biggest agent, and that's God.
That's right. No, that's fact. That's a fact. That somebody says XFL. You know, there's a different type of little leagues here. Not little leagues. I don't want to say little leagues, but semi-pro leagues. UFL. Have you ever thought about any of those, or seen if you could try to pursue one of those?
The UFL, a coach did contact me, one of the teams in the UFL, but you know that's like after this season is already done. Like I'm trying to play like now. I'm not
Yes.
trying to wait until spring football. I need to play right now. I'm
Yeah.
not trying to sit. I got to play.
Yeah. Yeah, I get it. And that's why, again, you're pushing right now. It's the middle of training camp. You're watching these teams. You're watching guys go down. You're watching other guys get signed. You're hungry. You're like, hey, just let me get a chance. I wonder, like, I thought I've seen it. I know the NFL, I mean, not NFL, the NBA does this with open tryouts. I think it used to be like that during the day. Is there no team around the league that does that anymore? The open tryouts, try to walk on?
I have no clue.
That might be something to
no
look
clue.
for, man. You just, but I know how it is, I mean, or, you travel and all that. It's a lot, man. It's an expense, but what's up? You got Frankie in the house. Appreciate Frankie there. No doubt. SoFlo Sports Show says deserves a tryout. Yes, he does. No doubt says Eagles question mark about the Eagles. Why do you know the Eagles do open tryouts? I mean, again, I think it's happened before. That's why I'm just asking. I don't know, but if anybody knows, it's Jarvis, because Jarvis is done everything. So, but we'll have to look at that, my man. We'll have to see if that's an option down the line. So right now, obviously, I don't even have to ask this because I know. So I'm just gonna say, I know you stay ready. You're always working out. You're always, pushing. And again, put yourself out there. That's a trait that most people, there's a lot of people that don't do that. I was just talking about. We were doing talk about the cancer challenge. And now that you say about your grandmother, I'm gonna reach out to you to get your grandmother's name, because I'm gonna wear your grandmother's name on my back for the DCC this year, Dolphins Cancer Challenge, my man. This will be my 4th year doing it, raising money for the fight against cancer. And if you're okay with that, I would love to put her name on our shirt and to walk for her in her memory.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
Of course, my man. So, again, to put yourself out there is admirable. To always, and to make people, to just because you don't know who's watching or who's going to watch or when that's going to get out there, and you don't know that one little chance at one time you might get that opportunity. And again, that's the thing that's admirable too. It's like you're not saying I deserve a spot. No. Give me an opportunity. Give me a shot to earn that spot, and that's something that's really cool, man. So, where are you at right now, my man? You're a free agent. You're just chilling, working out.
Working out and everything like that, and work. I try to keep myself busy, man, busy as possible, because I don't like to, I'm not the type of person to sit around. I let my days go by, and I'm just watching out, staying ready, because the last thing I want to do is, get lazy or complacent, and someone end up calling me and it's, well, he's not even ready, or I get out there and I do one drill and I'm already gassed. Like, I can't have that, because that's not embarrassing to them, but that's embarrassing for me. And I already put in so much work to get the opportunity, and then I get there and I'm not ready. So I'm always working, man. Like I said, staying prayed up and just, trusting this time.
That's right. So let me get because again, that's your goal. Your dream is to play in the NFL, and that's our prayer for you is to get that dream wherever that is, minus the Jets. But I'm just gonna keep saying it. I'll be happy for you inside, but I'll have to keep appearances. So as I'll text you congratulations, but then I'll publicly you betrayed me, bro. I'm pissed at you. You ever came on my show? I'll be petty as a motherfucker. No. But man, I have to ask you, because probably there's no one has more expertise in this topic than you. And us fans, whether you study the game, watch film, whatever, it could be a fan for years. There's things that you just don't understand unless you've been in that position. I played high school ball, but that's as far as it went. So very little in regard to, and I've watched the game for years and studied the game. But you've been in them, and then you played high school. You've been around different leagues, different type of situations. So, I want to talk about players that have to switch positions. You just said you've played every position on the line, so you know what it takes to play here, there, wherever. There's some people that don't understand. Like, we just talked about Jonas Alinea, player, second-year player with the Miami Dolphins. Loved him coming out of college. Loved his film. But when he was drafted by Miami, they moved him to the left guard spot. He struggled last year. He had a tough time. There was little flashes, but he didn't do well enough. And you had fans calling for his head. bench him, cut him, do whatever. And so I was always saying you need to move to the right side. That's where it's his natural position. Some players like Jarvis, I love versatile players. I love players that can play a lot of any position on the line, move them around. They're Swiss Army knives. Because if a guy goes down, hey, let's plug and play Jarvis. Let's go. If Jarvis can play center, let's go. Some guys can't, which is okay. Sometimes they're one guy, they think they could do it, but they can't. It's just what it is. What's the struggle for, let's say, for Jonah? Because he went to left guard, he struggled. He did better in college at the right side. Struggles there. Now that finally the new coaching staff, they move him to the right side, and he is showing he's comfortable. He looks better in his stance. He's playing better. Explain to those out there who explain to me why it's hard for a player to move spot to spot. Like, it's maybe easier for you, but why for some players it is hard to, like, if they play right guard their whole career from Pee Wee League, high school, college, and then they go to pros and we're moving you to left guard. What's the difference? You're only on the right side. Now you're going to the left side. What's hard, man? What's the mental game that people have to prepare for, the players?
It's because certain people only train for certain positions, not most positions. For me, I train in every position for the offensive line. So that makes it easy for me for them to just throw me out there because I adapt quick and I can just lock in. For him, if he can just play on the right at right guard, it could be possible he just trained for that position. It's hard for a lot of people. It's just hard.
What's the difference? Because both are guard spots, but one's the left side and one's the right side. You're absolutely right, right? Like if you've been training for just one spot, and let's say you do really well at that spot, but then it's like, hey, look, we got a right guard, or we feel comfortable at this spot. We need you at left guard. And when you're a rookie, you're not going to say no. I mean, you're not going to do it. You're going to say, yeah, of course, because if you say no, first of all, you're crap out of luck. But you feel like I could do it. But what besides the mental part of it and the training part of it, which you're right, like the game part of it, like what's different between playing right guard to left guard, where it might be difficult for someone like Jonah, who may, like you said, he may not have trained at that spot. He's always been a right guard or right tackle. Why is it hard for him to switch left guard minus just the training? What's different about those two spots?
Probably just hand placement. Him not being used to just putting his left hand in the dirt. Who knows? And just not being confident or comfortable at that position that they move him to. Like he don't feel comfortable. That could play a role too.
Now, let's get to another player very quick, and that's our rookie left guard right now. But he was a tackle. He was our first pick drafted with the Miami Dolphins in round 1, which was Caden Proctor out of Alabama. There was a lot of fans that they were like, "Oh, we're going to get Ruben Bain, edge rusher, out of Miami," and I would have loved it. But we go with Caden Proctor. Now, this guy is a beast. I mean, 6'7", 300-pound top. Jarvis, I know you follow the show and you're a friend. You and I, we chat here and there. But, one of the things here with the draft show, and I talk about girth. I talk about this, you got to be a big thing. We need big, thick offensive line. Calm down, Sammy. Okay? I'm talking about line. We need those girth. We need the line with girth, okay? So that dude is girth. All right? He's a beast, and Jarvis, you're 6'5". What's your – I've seen
330.
330. Look at that. Like that. See, that's what we need. You need size on that line. You need girth. But you also need guys with a football player mentality, like Jarvis, right? Jarvis, I need you to play right tackle. Done. I'm gonna go. He's good. Let's get you left side. Bam, done. Because you can play anything. You're a football player. You're not a guard. You're not a tackle. You're not a center. You're a football player.
Yes.
So Caden Proctor, I think, is like that. I think Caden Proctor has that mindset because he played tackle, but they're putting him at guard. And my goodness, 6'7" Patrick Paul, 6'7" Caden Proctor. That you've played tackle. If obviously guard is interior. You're between the center and the tackle. What's the difference between tackle and guard? Like here, you get you're blocking the blind side, or you're blocking this side of the quarterback, and you have more freedom of movement. And when you're a guard, you kind of tuck in between two guys.
How difficult is it
from tackle to guard?
I wouldn't say it's difficult, but like you said, like playing tackle, you got more space to work with. Say if you at guard, like you got to cover that middle. Should nothing be crossing your face? Should nothing be coming underneath? And just you guard and tackle the guys, doing the stunts and stuff like that. Just guard and tackle, they communicate and stuff like that. But I don't think it's really a difference. The only thing is with tackle, you just got more space to work with.
There you go. And that's the way I see it. I'm trying to, it's making me picture you as a coach down the line in life, because to explain, because that's to me, your words are valuable, especially to young players, who are growing into football. They'd be able, not just the inspiration of don't quit because I didn't quit, but like also, like you said, it's not about that. It's just about hand placement. It's the mental part of the game. That's the main thing too. Get out of your own head. Just you can figure it out. I got to ask you this, and it's not a football question, but I know this answer already. You and I, again, we have chatted, and you're gonna get on No Holds Barred soon. You and I talked about getting on the wrestling pod, but Frankie is asked, Jarvis, are you a wrestling fan like WWE or AEW?
Yeah, WWE. Yeah.
There you go. Hey, let me ask you this, because to me, it kind of rubbed me the wrong way. I'm gonna switch this up very quick because it's gonna mess up with some of the site and stuff. But I'd ask you. Is Roman Reigns overrated? I saw that recently. I have to ask you that question. Is Roman Reigns overrated, brother?
Oh, man. That's a hard question. That is a hard question. I like Roman Reigns. I like him. I like Roman Reigns. But I do feel like he's kind of overrated, bro. Just a tad bit. Just a tad bit. I feel like he's kind of overrated, man.
Do you put him in that? Okay, so because we talk about 4 pillars with the Dolphins, and again, people are like, "Where's this Dolphin show? What are we doing?" But I also talk about the 4 pillars of the pillars of wrestling, especially WWE. I mean, you talk about the Golden Age. You got Hogan, you have Hogan, Austin, Cena. Is Roman Reigns in that conversation with those 3 guys? As like, they say Cody Rhodes is the quarterback. I wouldn't say that. But is Roman Reigns in that tier with John Cena, Austin? Because you during the Austin era, of course, you had Rock, you had Triple H. But those guys were behind.
I wouldn't put them in there just yet, man. Because it's Stone Austin. You got Austin, and you got The Rock. Then you got John Cena, you got Hogan. Then you also think about it. You had Goldberg, you had The Undertaker, you had Shawn Michaels. A lot of them guys. I wouldn't put him up there just yet. He's like at the peak, but I just wouldn't put him in there just yet.
I think that's fair. I love that you answered it that way, because that's we have a whole show to do now. I got Jarvis. Won't be football time, but Jarvis and I, we're gonna get on a show, No Holds Barred Wrestling. Check it out. But Jarvis, my man, again, let everybody know where to follow you, where to follow your story. And again, anybody who's watching, no doubt says that he saw that in Always Sunny in Philadelphia. They had an Eagles tryout. Maybe that's a famous movie. I don't know. But if you do know of that, if you look online, guys, do me a favor, look online, see open tryout, NFL, whatever. Find Jarvis. Jarvis, tell them your handle so they know where you're at.
You can follow me at Frank_Tank_52.
That's on Twitter, okay? And he's active. He's there. He's always posting videos. DMs are open. If you see anything out there, let's help our brother out. Let him know, because again, he wants to find it. So just do that. Look for it up. Frank the Tank. So, man, my man, I'm so grateful for you to take the time to hop on with us. What's next for you, my man? What are you doing? What are you doing right now besides training? Just training, getting ready, working, doing stuff like that?
Yeah.
All right, my brother. Sammy, any final thoughts with Jarvis before we get him going?
I want to tell Jarvis, in 1995, a wide receiver went undrafted. Then he went to the Arena League. By 1998, he went to the Dolphins, and he never looked back. And it's under Gaston. So that story has been done before. So you don't quit. You keep grinding. It's happened before.
Yes, sir.
Before. So you have to keep doing it. You have to do it. And you can ask every single Dolphins fan and every single fan who watched Dolphins in the 90s, who run the gas stations, and they love to run the gas stations. So you have to keep grinding. Don't give up. You have a purpose. So Keep that motivation you have. Keep doing it for your grandma. You know, every single day you wake up and you don't give up. You're doing the right thing, brother. So you also keep doing it, and it's happened before. You know,
Yes.
there are trailblazers that did it before you. The past is there. You just keep doing just do what you do, and you know you're gonna get there. So best of luck, my brother.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
I want to say too to anybody who's watching though, again, if you, I know Noldout said he looked into it, but if you guys see anything or whatever, and maybe, you know, if you forget what Jarvis says, you know me, I'm at Bobby Finstock on Twitter. Message me and I'll text or message Jarvis if you guys find anything, you know, and keep him in the loop there. But
And you know, Bobby, the media guys at the Dolphins watch all these shows. They monitor. They monitor this. They say, you're watching. You know, give him a call. Come on.
That's what I'm
Tell
saying.
the coach to give him a call.
no, we got over 500 people, almost 500 people watching. I mean, come on. So Jarvis too, like I don't want, you know, thinking to, you know, make this a regular thing, maybe talk more football and to keep you in there, you know, get you involved, and also wrestle. Got to get you in wrestling because now you got me all fired up with the whole Roman. I think that's a conversation, my man. So
Yeah.
if you're down for that, we'll connect and we'll get it going, dude, and we'll just have fun. We'll have fun. We'll keep you busy that way too, my brother. Jarvis, God bless you. Thank you so much, man. I hope you have a great night and we'll chat soon, okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, Jarvis. We'll talk soon, brother. Jarvis Courtney, man, great dude, you know. And again, to me,
That's passion. I'll tell you what. For one thing for sure, that's passion. You know that he's passionate about football. He believes in himself. That's all you can ask for. As a parent, as a brother, you know, as a son. But you just look at that, you gotta get inspired because you know he plays with hunger. He really believes in what he wants to do. So you know that's inspiring. So hopefully, you know, he doesn't give up, and hopefully, you know, the door opens and he gets it the trial he deserves. So.
I
We were
agree.
rooting for him for sure.
Absolutely. And again, it's not something that he's just, you know, he comes on, he's just saying it. No, he means what he says. I mean, this is what he's about. And he wears his faith on his sleeve. He's not shy about representing his faith. He's not shy about representing his dream and putting it out there. And those are the people you want to root for. And those are the people that you want your kids to look up to. They say, like, look, this guy doesn't quit. And he's not ashamed of his faith. And that's what's awesome. Like, so God bless him. He's a great dude. You know, again, we chat often and he always keeps me in the loop with his dream, his career. And so, but we'll get him more here on FTSN more often because he is a part of this family. That's how I consider him. So, Sammy, Fins TV, my man, tell everybody what's going on over there at Fins TV.
Well, we have our last bonus episode before the season starts. So, you know, we're going to have a bonus episode. Hopefully the whole crew is back. But this week, we're going to talk about the pregame. I'm sorry, the preseason, you know, the Commanders, the Giants. We're looking forward to the matchups against the Falcons. That should be interesting. So, you know, we're going to wait and see what happens in that game. And, of course, Fin TV is back for our season premiere in September, The Quest, on, you know, YouTube and everywhere. So, you know, hopefully by then, you know, we're going to know who's going to start wide receiver, who's going to be our starting wide receiver by September. So, you know, a lot of hope over there. You know, I'm hopeful, you know, for this team to stay healthy during the preseason. That's all I'm hoping for.
Yeah, absolutely. We see Brett Lagasse in the comments here. Great for Brett to drop in. Guys, Brett is back. Brett, Greg, Maney, and Finstans are back with Fins Talk Overtime. They were live on Sunday. They'll be live again this Sunday, I believe. So make sure you are checking this out. He says Douglas and Washington will be the starting wide receivers. Absolutely. Well, first off, Douglas has that inside. Douglas is earning that spot by the way he's playing in training camp and the way he's done in preseason, at least with game one. Chris Bell, I think, will play week one. I don't expect him to be a starter because he has to earn that way in, especially with the health. But I think he'll be wide receiver one, very sure. I love Chris Bell. I think he's a great receiver. But Malik Washington has that inside track because of the chemistry he's building with Malik Willis. But again, you could check out Brett Lagasse, Finstanza, and Greg Maney on Overtime on Sundays. I think we usually go Thursday or Friday, but that's as of right now, it's Sunday until the season starts. Again, this is Fins Talk today on FTSN and Fin TV, sponsored by Caneswear at 2655 South University Drive in Davie. If you are not in South Florida, of course, if you're in Puerto Rico like Sammy or Nashville like me, of course, you could go to Caneswear.com. They got, of course, Miami Hurricanes merchandise, Marlins, Dolphins, Panthers, anything South Florida sports. They've got it. Go check them out. And again, The Dolphins Cancer Challenge is on its way. Tristan and I are registered again for the fourth time. We just had an awesome meeting with the team, Worldwide Dolphin fans, with Big E and Ashley and Lou and Mike and everybody. It was so great to see them. Guys, again, which is so evident when we did this meeting, everyone has had cancer touch them in some way and deal with them. Like right now we had Jarvis who talked about why he's so passionate about making it elite, not just his personal passion, but because he made a promise to his grandmother who died from cancer. Okay. That's how impactful cancer is. Touched everybody. It's touched all of us. You know, I've lost family members and friends. Our beloved Big E, the big brother of Dolphins Nation, is dealing with it right now. Cancer, we need to kill it. We need to beat it. We need to fight it. And that's why, again, I don't want to say about what you can or cannot do. You could do something. And how can you do something? Well, first, of course, you can donate by scanning the QR code right there. It'll take you straight to, it'll be my page, my face will be there, but I get nothing from it. It goes straight to the Sylvester Comprehensive Cancer Center for Cancer Research. It's the fight against cancer. The DCC have raised over $100 million, okay, to fight against cancer. And of course, that is not enough. We need to keep doing it. So if you want to donate anything, any amount, okay, from 5, 10, 15, 20, 100, how much you want to give, anything matters. And it's all very greatly appreciated. But let's say you can't donate. Do me a favor. Share to others. Let them know, hey man, donate today. Here's the page. And if you want to also share, you could also register. Let's say you want to participate. That's just as great. You could join the Worldwide Dolphin fans. Contact 305 Sports Babe on Twitter or Ian Big E. We're always welcoming teammates there. But also you could register for yourself. You could walk, you can run, you could ride the bike. They do that there. If let's say, but I don't want to try, I can't travel. It's too much of an expense. You could do it in Puerto Rico. You could do it in Nashville. You could register and walk in one of your parks and do the 5K here. Just raise that money. I think the minimum is 250, but even 250 of 100 million is still impactful. So again, I advocate for you to do something. Register, share, and donate. One of those three would be greatly appreciated. Donate would be awesome, because we want to keep raising those funds. But if you want to participate, even better. I'm Bobby Finstock. That's Fin Sammy. This is Fin's Talk Today, the flagship show. And I just want to say, guys, pay attention. We got big things cooking on FTSN, the Finstock Sports Network. Till then, like and subscribe. And no matter what, whether you're overhyping the Fins, underhyping the Fins, happy, sad, no matter what, Dolphin fans, as always, Fins up.